Okay, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Life on the Ave. We are sitting with my good friend, Alexander Pettinaro.
Hi.
So welcome.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
I'm great, actually. Good start to the Monday. Got a workout in, got a little meditation in. I'm feeling
Love that
good.
for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to get my workouts back in. Well, welcome. I'm going to give a quick bio on you.
Please.
Tell them about you, what, Google can find, just to make sure I word everything right. So Alex is a licensed esthetician and a makeup artist based in Pennsylvania and Delaware. She is multi-talented. I wrote that because you are, and has worked with within multiple industries. And her latest venture is called Bathhouse, where Alex primarily hosts sound bath meditations, intuitive facials, and body work, yoga, and more. Bathhouse is a sanctuary of healing for the body, mind, and spirit. It's not a spa. It's not a yoga studio. It's not a traditional bathhouse with pools and steam like you might picture by the name, but it's something totally different. Bathhouse offers experiences that go beyond the traditional wellness practices. Here, Alex and her team invite you to embark on a journey that delves deeper into the realms of self-discovery and well-being. One of the key benefits of a sound bath is their ability to reduce pain, increase see this word? I don't know these words.
It trips you up. I get it.
Increase neural connectivity and improve quality of life. In addition to owning Bathhouse, Alex is a licensed esthetician, and in her experiences, she has found facials and skincare to be dominated by machines with little focus on personal hand to skin healing. Our skin is a living, breathable organ and a filtration system. So Alex advocates and implements a realistic approach to skincare. Each of her services, whether a facial or a sound bath, are transformative treatments which provide a relaxing, healing journey of the body, mind, and spirit. Beyond her skills as an esthetician, Alexandra has over a decade of experience as a makeup artist, and that's where I've really gotten to know her. Ranging from full glam to soft, subtle, neutral makeup and everything in between, and even special effects makeup, which she is incredible with. So welcome to Life on the Ave.
Thank you.
That is just your Google bio, I guess.
Yeah.
So you're so much more than this. I think the main reason we have you here today is you recently opened Bathhouse, which is super, super exciting. Our team is full of entrepreneurs, and you just embody entrepreneurship. So tell us how did we get here?
Yeah.
Right? It's quite the journey.
Yeah, it's been a really long journey. I really didn't know what I wanted to do for a really long time. Even in school, in college, my parents are like, "Okay, you gotta figure it out." And
right.
I'm trying. I'm taking all these classes. I don't know how to quicken this process here.
Right.
So
what was your major?
My major was organizational and community leadership, and then I minored in entrepreneurship.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So once I found the leadership major, a lot of doors opened for me because I really liked how it paired business and more art and creative and more fun. So that was really cool. And I felt like that really started the journey of where can we go from here? What can we do with this?
Right.
And then from there, recently just opening Bathhouse, that started from a pop-up studio that I ran for about 8 months last year. So I just used a non-permanent space and just I didn't do any interior stuff. The space was what it was.
Right. Blank canvas.
Yep.
And it was still beautiful.
Yeah. It worked out.
It was a beautiful space.
It was great.
I was shocked when you were moving because I was this is already great. But now I get it. I get it now that I have seen your new space.
It was a great starting point.
Yeah.
So from there, I had no idea that it would turn into this. But I'm so glad that it did.
Amazing.
And we just kind of rolled with it to continue on.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you find sound meditation? How did we get here?
Yeah. So after college, I went to cosmetology school in Philadelphia. So 2019, I graduated, and that was right before COVID hit.
Crazy.
So graduated in June. I think it was June. And then from there, everything shut down quickly after that. So I moved home because the lease was over in Philly anyway. So it was kind of beautiful timing.
Yeah, right.
Because then I was able to be home in COVID,
save money, COVID.
Yeah.
Who wants to be in Philly was crazy during COVID.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to be home with my family that time. We'll just never get back. But
Right.
through that, I started, I randomly found this woman on Instagram, and she was more into the holistic aesthetics. She had these beautiful videos of like massage on the skin, and it just like really drew me in. So I was like, who's this person? Like, she's very heavily educational page.
Love that.
Yeah, like I love the educational pages where you really learn something.
Right.
So I found her name's Bethany. She's based out of Texas. So she's an educator. So she does tons and tons of online resources and workshops and all of these things. So I took a holistic aesthetics course.
And this is outside of cosmetology school. So you're doing this like extra.
Yeah.
Like, this is your journey.
Yeah. It's a little complicated because I went to cosmetology school. Cosmetology is the umbrella term for everything. Right. So I'm still able to work as an esthetician or a nail tech or a natural hair braider. Right. All of these things fall under the cosmetology license versus if I just went to esthetician school, even though it's run by the same school, it's a different program. I would not be able to be a cosmetologist. So I wouldn't be able to do hair. And hair, like I didn't want to have to go back to school.
In case.
Just in case. I was like, let's just do the whole thing instead of just the one thing.
A businesswoman.
Yeah. You know, I'm like,
from the jump.
Efficiency. We're all about efficiency. So I took her online courses, which was really cool. I never really aligned with the medical side of aesthetics. Like, I understood it, but I felt like it was
injections, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, injections, more like your hydrofacial. That is like a huge thing recently. Machines, chemical peels, just abrasive stuff for the skin. There's absolutely a realm for that. It just wasn't my realm. I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find more techniques where I could like really kind of work more with the magic and more with the connecting with people instead of just client after client,
chemicals.
In, out, chemicals, and just, I don't know, it just seemed very phony to me, the whole thing. Yeah. So I took this wonderful course. I'm speeding up here, and
it's a lot to summarize.
It is a lot. Yeah. I know. Like it's been a really, really long journey, like of getting here and finding this path. Took the course, loved it. COVID loosened up, the restrictions loosened up. She started offering a holistic aesthetics retreat, which I thought was really cool. One of the things that she taught in that retreat was buccal massage, which I was very interested in learning. Buccal massage is like that intraoral massage where I wear gloves and like you open your mouth and I stick my thumbs and my fingers in there and I get to work both sides of your cheek and your jaw. Which is like really wonderful. Yeah. So
because I've had a facial with you, but not that.
Yeah, not that. So she was going to be teaching that in the holistic, aesthetics retreat. So I was like, I've got to go. I've got to do this.
Yeah.
So I flew down to Texas. I did this retreat thing for a few days. It was wonderful.
Right.
Her sister ended up coming as well, and she is a sound healer. She was based in LA at the time, but now she is back in Texas. So I got to experience my first sound bath there.
Cool.
Which I had never really heard of before that.
I hadn't heard of it until
it's like it's just not a thing here yet, but now it is. So I got to experience a sound bath, which was crazy. And then we basically had an open floor to play all the instruments. So she had gongs, she had tuning forks, she had the crystal singing bowls, she had rain sticks, she had chimes, like drums. There was just a whole room of like stuff you could play with, which was really cool.
It's like kindergarten kind of all over again.
Literally.
Just play.
Yeah, just play
so cool.
And see where you go. And so I gravitated towards the bowls. I was like, these things are really cool. Let me see. So I started playing and they're like, yeah. Like, you know exactly what you're doing. I was like,
cool.
I have never played in my life before. And they're like, well, you're pretty good. Like, you should consider this. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, thank you. But like, whatever. You probably tell everybody this. Like, I'm not going to take this too much to heart. So finished the course, finished all that jazz, came home, and I was kind of in between jobs at the time. So I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go with it. And if I wanted to stay on the aesthetics track, do I go more cosmetology? Do I keep going with my makeup stuff?
Right.
What am I doing?
Yeah. And you've always kind of been with a salon or a, wherever, like you've worked out of other places, but kind of going back to like your UD days, like you had that entrepreneurial spirit. I think like, I want to work for myself. I want to do this myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I kept like gnawing at me in the back of my mind. I was like, remember how good that felt? Just like play and like, I really did. And I really loved the way that it made me feel when I was experiencing the sound bath. So I was like, you know what? fuck it. Like, let's just go for it.
I have nothing to lose.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to get the set. And then I talked to my dad and I was like, can I use a space just temporarily? Can I just see where this goes for the summer?
Right.
And let's just try
it out.
And he was like, yeah, sure. Go for it.
Right.
So we went for it and it's just like blossomed into this like wonderful thing.
What were like the startup costs for that? Was that super expensive? Like we talk all the time about like the start of this podcast, like the equipment, the whatever, like I can't imagine that stuff would be cheap.
Yeah. So the whole set, so I bought them through my mentor, Amanda is her name.
Because if you're going to go, you're going to go all the way.
Yeah.
You're not getting the Amazon brand.
Yeah.
No.
And I mean, it's difficult to like, there's really no like major difference. I did want to do more of like an ethical purchase. I guess if I could, I would rather. So I bought through Amanda because I wanted to give her some commission.
Right.
I trusted her input of like what she would give me. And she is in connection with all of those wonderful instrument companies. So I was like, that seems like the best route for me. And that's again, not to knock Amazon. Like if you want to start somewhere, like you can absolutely do that. I wanted the bowls. I wanted the transportation. I wanted the mallets, like all in one. I didn't want to have to like grab like one thing and then the next and then the next.
Right.
So startup cost for all 7 bowls plus my 2 travel cases plus a couple mallets was around $1,500-$1,600.
That's an investment.
It's an investment.
Yeah.
Not awful.
Nothing crazy.
It's not 20 grand. Like fine.
Right.
But yeah,
you started out doing this like on your own, like wherever. Like at the park, right? Like, so that's still like a big investment.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, okay, like I think I can do this. And we made back that money in the whole, like in the summer. So it was like, great, done. So yeah, like from there, so I just purchased my first gong as well. It comes in May. So I'm really excited for that. But that also, gongs have a range. They also can be very expensive. So that was also about $1,500 just for one single instrument.
Yeah.
But it also came with this really cool triangle like stand and et cetera, et cetera. So
because now you have an aesthetic, you're not just in a temp space. You need to match your vibe.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So it's definitely an investment. I did also get sound equipment so I can start recording.
Yep.
That was probably another $1,500. Yep. I got swag. Like I love it. Like it's definitely growing. I actually joked with Bryn the other day when we were in DeCourcy. She's always like carrying stuff into the business. And I'm like, do you ever not have something to purchase, to carry in whatever for the business? She goes, no.
She's addicted.
Yeah.
She's addicted. And every time I'm there, her space is more beautiful than the last.
Yeah. It's always a work in progress.
Yes. Yeah. And like her vibe changes. It's overall the same aesthetic, but like it changes. Every time I'm in her rooms, there's something new to look at.
Yeah. It's got to grow. But I think that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. And she's incredible at that. So I'm going to give like the definition of a sound bath. So like we were just talking about this. You were just on Bryn's podcast and you were speaking, they speak the same language. They're talking about like estheticians and aesthetics and spirituality and your nervous system. I appreciated that. I loved how in depth you guys really got, but this podcast is gonna be more general. Like you're talking to normal everyday people. So the definition of a sound bath, I had to look this up, is a therapeutic practice that involves immersing oneself in soothing sounds and vibrations to promote relaxation, meditation, and healing. During a sound bath session, various instruments produce harmonious tones such as singing bowls, gongs, chimes, drums, and they're played to create a meditative atmosphere. So that is like by definition what a sound bath is. What is it to you? Like to you, what is a sound bath providing? What is the vibe, the energy you're creating?
Yeah. So a sound bath to me is a time where you just come in, you lay down, you're in comfortable clothes, you listen to me guide you through a mini meditation in the beginning. I give you the guide to, people need to be told kind of what to do.
Yes.
A lot of people are really intimidated, just like sit there. They're like, well, what am I supposed to be doing something?
Right.
No, it's okay. But I'll lead you. You just follow along with me.
Right.
And beyond that, I'm playing the bowls, which emit these wonderful frequencies, which we'll touch on later. But a sound bath is just a relaxing experience. At its core, it is a unique meditative experience.
Yeah.
Even for those that have never done meditation before or have never done a sound bath before. Again, like I just did one 2 years ago and now here I am and I'm leading it. Like you don't have to have any experience. You don't need to prepare anything. You just have to come in with an open mind.
Right.
So at its core, it's helping you relax from your day.
Right.
Same thing as if you're getting a full body massage or, whatever your stress relieving activity activities are. Some people it's getting your nails done. Other people it's getting your lashes done, or, you know, going for a run, spending time in nature. Like, it just depends, but it's a form of all of those things. Right. Just helping you calm down and de-stress.
Yeah. And I have this as a question, like I'll bump it up now. Yeah. Like, I did a sound bath with you, and I'll say, like, I get it, especially when I came when I was pregnant, and I got a lot of like pregnancy massages. And I always told Vincent, like, I spend half the massage trying to relax. Right. And then when I finally relax, it's over. Yeah. And I will say with the sound bath, like, I would say probably it took me the first couple minutes of like, what's going on? Like, okay, the music started, she's talking, like, then it finally like clicked, like, oh, like this is it. Like, we're here. And then I would say maybe max 5 minutes until I was like zened out. Yeah. And I didn't fall asleep. You said we could, like, it's totally cool if you fall asleep, but like, I don't know. I guess I was meditating. Yeah. I don't do this a lot. So I felt like I was in like a different place, which I had never experienced. And I need to come back. I've been talking about coming back forever. We want to bring the whole team, but like, I will say, way faster relaxation than I've ever experienced. So I'm a huge advocate. I think it's so cool what you're doing. And also, like, tell me about like what you're talking about. I think it was really cool. You, at that point when I was there, you were talking about like the Sagittarius was in the moon, like the whatever. And I'm now into that stuff. Not enough that I could speak of it clearly. But that's like, talk about like what you're talking about, especially in the beginning. Yeah.
So I feel like when the last time you were there was a pop-up studio, right? You haven't been, No. So in the pop-up studio, I did theme it a little bit differently. I felt like now that I have more consistent classes. So Wednesday, we have classes every Wednesday at 7. And we do some Monday classes as well. I love it at night.
I love that.
Always at nighttime. I just find that I can't do stuff in the morning. Like, some people recommend meditating in the morning. That doesn't work for me. It's cool if it works for you. But for me, like my brain is just going a million places. My to-do list is going. Exactly. Right. But at night, you're like, I'm done with the day, and now I can really prioritize me. So I go through different techniques in the guided meditation to help you build your toolbox of what can I do. So prime example, I love that you brought this up, in your massage. The reason why I'm assuming it's taking you so long to relax is because your mind is racing. You're going through all the million things that you need to do. You're like, why can't I relax? Now I'm getting frustrated. Like, okay, just calm down, calm down.
The more you tell yourself to calm down, the less you are.
Exactly. Because so true. You don't have those tools. You don't know how to kind of train the brain to allow yourself this time and this space.
I can't.
And so so we teach those. I teach different methods of relaxation. So a very easy meditation is a body scan. So these are things that you can do in your waking life. Like, you don't have to come to sound bath every time just to relax. Like, I want you to take these tools and use them every day. So body scan, we're just going to go through, starting at the top of the head, moving all the way through. You're going to think about each body part. If it helps you visualize like a little light moving through the body, you know, that's what we're going to do. Other ones are, how do we stop the racing thoughts in the mind? Others are visualization. It really depends kind of what time of year it is, of like what I'm going to kind of focus on. Like Thanksgiving, always about gratitude. We're always working on gratitude. We're thinking about thankfulness, community, family, all of that stuff. You know, come February, maybe we'll focus a little bit more on self-love. How can we practice a little bit more of that? That's cool. So yeah, it just depends. But at its core, that's what we're trying to do. I'm giving you the tools in the guided meditation for you to then harness for yourself.
So it's different every time.
It's different every time. Yeah.
What's that prep like?
Sometimes it's not so bad if I don't have repeat people. So it's been really funny. Like every week it's like brand new people, which is amazing.
That's
like
amazing.
I love it. So I haven't had to do like anything crazy. So sometimes I'll reuse the meditation if it's different people. Like it's not a big deal. It's still a great meditation. But I kind of go through and I'm like, what haven't I done? What am I feeling like doing? And beginners are still welcome on Wednesdays. I just open the beginner classes on Mondays just to allow for people that are feeling really intimidated. They want to know
it's beginners, they feel better.
Yes, absolutely.
I want to know more. Black Ops. Like I was like so nervous, but if they say it's an intro or a beginner, then you feel better.
You're like, I'm good. Yeah, absolutely. So
even though it's probably the same thing.
Yeah. No, totally. I just give you a little bit more information on sound healing and meditation practice in general in the beginners class. So if you want to know more about that before you dive in, That's always great. But I feel like I lost my train of thought. But like, yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So like growing up, I always say, like, I always wanted to be like a kindergarten teacher. And now here I am, I'm in real estate. Did you have a career goal in mind, like growing up, or were you always just kind of like bouncing around?
So before I went to UD, I had one semester at Auburn in Alabama.
Nuh-uh.
I did, yeah.
I did not know that.
I know.
I can't see you there.
Me as a Southern girl. Yeah, no, didn't really align.
No.
So I went there for one semester. My major was marine biology.
Right. This is what I was getting at.
So random. I always really loved like animals growing up and like wanting to like work with animals in some facet. Marine biology was a little too sciencey for me. And again, like I just had no idea kind of what I was doing. So I just chose something that was super interesting. So that's where I thought I was going to go at first. I thought I was going to like work with animals my whole life. And in some way, like I really wanted to be like an animal behavioralist. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was so cool. But that is not how it turned out, obviously. So yeah, I never really had anything beyond that. And I was like, oh, I really wanted to do that. It was just kind of, this is interesting. Let me try it.
Right.
This is interesting. Let me try that.
Right.
And I like to call myself like queen of all trades, jack of all trades kind of thing.
You are.
I just like to do different things. Variety is truly the spice of life. And I am so tired of trying to be put in one box.
Right.
Because I can live in many boxes.
Right.
I don't need the one little box.
No.
Like, why try to like limit yourself? And you have the ability to do so many different things. So
totally. And recreate yourself whenever you want.
Absolutely.
There's no age. There's no time limit.
Yeah.
Good for you. I love that. So you try, you were doing sound baths in the park. That's where I first saw you post them.
Yeah.
Then you go into your temp space. When were you like, okay, I'm taking this to the next level. I'm going all in.
Yeah.
Like, what was that moment for you?
So I kind of knew it was coming. I felt intuitively that I was like, I think my time at this pop-up studio is like going to come to an end soon. Because essentially the pop-up studio space was still available to rent.
Right.
So whenever a renter was ready to go in, like I'm out of there.
You're kicked out.
So I had a preemptive conversation with my dad about it. Probably we left the space in March of last year. So I guess January, February. Yeah. It was around then. I just had a brief like, hey, if, somebody takes the space, like, I think I really want to continue with this. What does that look like?
Right.
Do you have available properties? Like, can we kind of start just like thinking about it? And then lo and behold, end of February, he's like, yeah, we have a renter. So
it's meant to be.
You're out of there.
Right.
And I'm like, great. Well, my timeline just moved up. So
where are you putting me?
Where are we going? Exactly. So I took time off in March after we closed. It's always my birthday in March. So
nice.
Just took some time off, kind of like reevaluated, reflected, just kind of saw, I was like, what would this space really start to look like now that it's becoming a thing? And then from there, like we started looking at spaces. Everything that I saw, except for mine, was on the second floor of places, and I really did not like that.
Yeah.
I didn't like the fact that people had to go up. I wanted to be more accessible, and I feel like when you're on the second floor, you can't connect with the earth
ground
below
That's
you.
Cool.
So
these are the things I would never think.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird. It's a lot of trusting the self, which has taken me a really long time to start to like do.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. So how long did it take you to find the space, create the vision, construction, we all know can be crazy. How long did that process take?
So basically March of last year, I'll just say, let's start April 1 to October the 13th of this year.
That's when you opened.
That's when we
it was
had
a Friday,
right? Yep. Friday the 13th. Yep.
So like, you're just so cool.
I just felt good. I was like, I can't not do this. Yeah. Friday the 13th are always great days. Like the superstition behind that is just basically anti-women. So like, don't look into that. Yeah.
So to that point, what do you say to like the naysayers, people that are like, oh, meditation's BS, all of that world is crazy. Because even like for me, like I was nervous coming into that situation, not necessarily a naysayer, but someone that just like had never experienced that. Like, what do you say to those people that would never come to you?
Yeah. So the people like that, I think a lot of people want to put me in the woo-woo category.
Yep.
Look at the science.
Yeah.
There is data behind this. There's a lot of studies behind this. I'm not going to go into all of the studies now, but there is information out there.
Right.
I think it's also important to note that like if you already are like, ugh, I would never do that, you're not the client for me.
Right.
And that's okay.
That's okay, because there's plenty out
really
there.
okay. Like, I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, I have to do this.
Right.
Like, no, you don't. And like, it's just it's not there. But one thing that I really wanted to like say was, so it's the same thing of like, meditation and mindfulness is a practice.
Right.
You want to lose weight, right? So you go to the gym consistently.
Right.
You eat healthier consistently, and that's when results start to show. Same thing with your skincare, like anything like that. It's all about consistency. How do we stop the aging process, or at least slow down the aging process? Okay, consistently, you need to work on your skincare. You need to do that every single night and every morning.
Right. Botox once a month.
Right. Sure. Absolutely.
Whatever.
Like, that is, consistency is key in almost all things in a human's life.
True.
And meditation is no different. Like, it is a practice that you have to do. It's going to be difficult the first couple times, the first 10 times that you do it.
Right.
Because same thing, when you're getting those massages, you're not used to like centering your brain and living in the present moment. Our brains are conditioned to like move on to the future, move on to the past. Sometimes in sound bath, people are like, I just like had like a flashback from 15 years ago. Like, why did that show up? Like, and it's like, it's just weird, but our brain is trained to do that.
Right.
So it's always important to note that, like, beyond the data and the science in that, it takes consistency. You have to want to practice this. And that's okay if you don't want to practice it.
Right.
Nobody has to.
Right.
But I just, you need to.
Yeah.
And then the like second part of that is like, you possess the capacity to cultivate awareness and reclaim your power to regulate.
Yeah.
So through neuroplasticity, we essentially like mold our neural pathways. I know this is really sciencey, but I'm trying to keep it like really simple.
Yeah.
We have the ability to like push it towards the way we want it to.
Right.
The brain is always going to want to prove itself right.
Right.
I don't have time to work out. That's another like big one. I don't have time to meditate. Well, sure, because you're in that mindset of, well, yeah, I don't have the time. So you're going to look at your calendar and be like, yep, I don't have the time. See, I'm right. Like the brain just wants to do that.
Right.
So it's just like
self-gratification.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but if you really want something, you have to go and get it.
You'll wake up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym.
Yes.
You'll, eat a salad for lunch.
It takes dedication.
It's just choices.
And some people just don't want to do that. And that's okay. Fine. Yeah, that's absolutely okay. But for those that do, like, it's so rewarding because you learn yourself more and it really helps you with your connections with the people around you as well. Yeah.
And the one time I came, I could tell the people that had been coming, right? And I think it was one of your last ones before you were going to your new space, because like everyone was so like disappointed that there was going to be a break. Yeah. Like they were like, what are we going to do?
I know, it's a bummer.
So I could tell that like, okay, people are really bought into this, like this. And I mean, I had a great experience, but I could tell like there were repeat people. These aren't people that are just coming one time thinking, oh, this is going to fix me. Yeah. One time is going to solve my problems. No, these are people that are coming back and see the benefits and see like, what they can be because of it.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. So how do you work this magic? Like what's like your secret?
My secret is I just feel like I'm a very casual person.
Yes.
Like I'm very personable, I guess is what people like say. But even when I'm like getting coffee, like I'm like, hey man, like, yeah, how's your day going? But like I genuinely like mean it. I'm genuinely asking. Like I don't want you to give me
pleasantries.
No, like I'm just curious. And I think that small bit of human connection, or people are like, oh, wow, yeah, my day's okay. Yeah, how about you? Like, it's disarming people is a big one. Allowing them the space to feel comfortable. Right. Not being like too pushy or anything like that. And I think the space itself kind of helps me with that. Right. It's very chill. It's very relaxed. I try to talk to each person that walks in so they feel seen.
It's moody kind of, but it's bright because you have the windows. Like it kind of checks, like it brings a lot into the space. The green is very earthy to your point. So kind of what you were saying, like you'll talk to the guy at the coffee shop, you'll ask them, and you genuinely mean it. I experienced that with you. Like we got to know each other briefly through college, but then like I kind of have followed your journey since then. Yeah. And I've always felt connected to you because you're like what you just said, you're very genuine, you're very real. I can reach out to you, and whether you can help me or not, I know you can connect me to someone that will. And same thing, like you are just yourself. Like you can have pink hair one day and brown hair the next. And I've just like always admired that about you. So it's cool to see you like culminate this into a space.
Yeah. It's nice that people feel comfortable around me. And I think that that's always been my biggest thing. Like, we put up all these like barriers around ourselves to protect ourselves. And, you know, somebody has a bad day, they like go off on somebody. And I've seen it like in real life so many times. Like, but I really love being that safe place for people, that they feel comfortable enough to give it a chance to come into class, or they feel comfortable enough to share things with me and holding space for people. That's really it. And like you said, just being genuine, like, to me, like nothing is so earth shattering that like it needs to be a big deal. Like
you said on Brins, like we're on a floating rock. Like
nothing makes sense.
Like, and I think about this all the time whenever I'm having a bad day or someone's fighting with me or like we lose a deal, right? Like this real estate business is up and down. Some days we're great, highs, some days all our deals blow up and like we're miserable. But then I'm just like, wait a second, like I could die tomorrow. I could die right now. Like this doesn't matter. Nobody cares. 100 miles away what I'm doing. Nobody cares across the street what we're doing. So it's just like when you put that into perspective, it's so cool.
Definitely. And that's part of mindfulness as well. Of just being like, oh, okay, well, let's see where we can move on from here.
So who then heals the healer? If you're spending all this time helping all these people, how do you find your zen and your...
Definitely. So I have an amazing team of healers now.
They're beautiful and your headshots are stunning.
Thank you.
Your headshots on your website, I was like, oh my gosh.
It's been really fun. We had like a content day the other day where it just turned into all of us kind of swapping services and stuff on each other. I was like, wow, this is so fun. So it gave me an idea for next year. I was like, I think we're going to close in between Christmas and New Year's and just do like a healers only retreat and just swap on each other.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty good at it now. Massages are huge for me just to de-stress. And like, I love the touch. The like safe touch is really important for me. Even just like walking in nature is another like really big one, or spending time with my animals, like spending time with the dog, spending time with my cat. Like those are really big stress reliever. We did have chickens. We've had many foxes come and get them. So we actually have 2 turkeys now.
Cool.
Tom and Thomasina number 2.
All right.
Yeah. We used to have bees. My dad like loves hobbies. So, and growing up, you know, like I go hunting with my dad. Like we were always very big animal people. And just like nature-y people. We like adventure. We like that stuff.
Cool.
So I de-stress in a lot of different ways like that. And my own practice, I just was Reiki attuned for level 1.
Wow.
And part of that is you have to meditate and do Reiki on yourself every day for 21 days.
Wow.
I have never been that dedicated to a practice like that before. So like, you know, I don't meditate every day, even though I teach meditations. I try to practice mindfulness every day, but it's not sitting there for 30 minutes with myself and my thoughts. So that has also been really eye-opening to dive into that practice a little bit more. And really, like what happens after those like 21 days? I'm like, wow, this is like really cool. And like now I can find ways to implement that time in my schedule.
Cool. That's important. So you said this was a hard question. Who inspires you? Because this is all the things you're doing are so amazing. And, you know, like who, if you're having a bad day or, you know, like who has inspired you along this journey?
So I was like kind of tripped up on this question just because I don't really like the whole like celebrityism of this like culture. I'm not like into the Kardashian. Like I just don't like get that whole thing. But 3 like big names that like immediately popped out were Lady Gaga, Pamela Anderson, and Steve Irwin, R.I.P. Growing up, like I used to watch Steve Irwin's show all the time, and like just his like raw passion and like excitement for everything was just so genuine. I felt like that really translated for me. And
he's super family oriented. So are you.
And like I still watch like the Irwin's like show sometimes, and like I think it's so cool that both of his kids and his wife are like still in
the business.
Like,
still do it.
I think it's awesome. And then like Pamela Anderson, I think facing such scrutiny as a young woman, and like having all the horrible stuff that like came out with her. Even most recently, like the Pam and Tommy show, which like I loved, but I hate to love it because like she didn't sign off on that.
Right.
And like I watched the Pamela documentary and I just thought it was like so empowering and so, again, raw and beautiful that she has just like grown tremendously from this. And I just think that she's a beautiful person. Lady Gaga's just rebellious and I like freaking love that about her. Yeah. She really is just like stick it to the man and like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I really like admired that.
I love that.
And she's like a rock star singer. So
yeah,
that was really cool. But I find inspiration everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm really big on like nature and inspiration. Like it's really just being open to the small things, like walking along and like in the spring, like snow's melting, those like tulip buds are like budding out. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Just the process of cycle of renewal, I just think is beautiful. There's so many things to be inspired by. You just have to look for it.
Yeah.
My parents inspire me, both owning their own businesses. I think that's awesome. And they handle it with such grace.
Right.
And such poise. Like, I think it's rock star. Like,
what was it like growing up in that?
Pretty all right.
Because I think
like,
about this with my kids.
Yeah, definitely. Like my dad wasn't, I mean, my parents were always there, like sports games, like that sort of stuff. Like they really prioritized that. I would say that like, you know, some days my dad would work like longer hours. My mom is more of a night owl. So she'll like work like in the nighttime. Yeah, exactly.
That's more me.
But she like stayed at home with us. She just
amazing.
brought her work home. She was like the first remote worker. Like, you know what I mean? So they always really prioritized us. And I wouldn't say like I was, I think it was great. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, because I worry about that. Like, you know, you see like Murphy's toys are in the corner. We have them with us. And sometimes I'm like, is this right? Are they going to hate us? Like, this is crazy life. And, you know, she was growing up back here on the swing and it's craziness. And, you know, we work crazy hours. We have a babysitter tonight. Like, it's just, it's hard, but
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. It's our
at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all for them.
Exactly.
But it's funny to hear you talk about who inspires you. And I maybe never said this to you before, but like hearing you talk about like Pamela Anderson and things that she went through, like, I think one of the reasons I've always looked up to you is like, you're very confident in who you are. And you, as you said before, you have this ability to make other people feel comfortable. I've always reached out to you for, you did my bridal makeup, our engagement photos, my wedding makeup. I reached out to Alex for a boudoir shoot so I could do a fun little photo shoot before Vincent and I got married. And like, the reason I reached out to you is because one, like, I feel like you helped me bring out my inner beauty, like my inner confidence. When you came to do my makeup, you weren't doing full contour. And like, I was always nervous about eyelashes, and you would like help me like pick the right eyelashes, just to, like, I never wanted to feel fraud, fake. And especially on my wedding day, like I didn't want to look at the photos and be like, who is that? Yeah. I wanted to look back and be like, that's me. It's a beautiful version of me, but that's me. And so like, that's one of the reasons I've always looked up to you, because like, I felt confident reaching out to you, knowing that, you know, you were going to help me find my confidence and my inner beauty. So it's cool to hear you say that, because I look at you that way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Cool. So I would say, like, kind of getting towards the end, I would say two things more like businessy questions. One is, what is it like and what advice would you give to a business owner? And then especially a woman in business. You have a lot of friends that are also doing things like this. We have Katie Cutler, you know, us, right?
Deb Todd.
Exactly. Like you're surrounded by these women. Like, what advice would you give to someone?
So
Bryn Gray, of course.
Like, you're going to be faced with like a lot of naysayers. I feel like my whole life has been, well, you can't do that.
Right.
You can't, what? No, you can't do it that way. Why would you? No. You have to do it this way. A lot of people telling you what to do. A lot of people telling you what you should do, what you shouldn't do.
This is the way it's always been done.
Right. It's infuriating, to be honest. I'm so tired of hearing people giving me their unsolicited advice. It's frustrating and it's very annoying. Because, you know, I might not look, nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody, they don't. Nobody knows any better than you. Everybody can give you advice, sure. And there is a time and a place for all of that, but trust your gut 100%, because there's been several inquiries of, well, you should shift the business in this direction because it'll be better.
Right.
No, we're not doing that.
No.
So really finding your own vision of how you want it to go and leaning into that and trusting yourself, I think, is the biggest thing. That seems so cliche and silly, but it's true. I have really felt a shift into my role now as business owner, boss, person. Now that the new year has started, I'm feeling much more confident in that role versus the end of last year. I was kind of like a little more timid, a little more like, okay, I'm trying to figure this out still. But it all came down to like trusting the self more. And you know, sometimes I'll hit the tarot card or an oracle reading just to kind of be like, spirit guides, like, am I good?
Right.
Like, I think this is it. Like, we're cool? Okay, cool. Like, you know, and it's just like that extra reassurance.
Yeah, extra boost.
Of like, yeah, you're good, babe. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
But just watch out for these two things.
Right.
And it's like, great. And one of my things to watch out for was people trying to change my business.
Yeah.
So
I could so see that, especially in your world.
Yeah. So it's annoying and it's very frustrating, but the payoff is amazing. We're still getting there, but trust yourself 100%. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of change this last question just because I heard you talking to Bryn about this. Like, you're the only person doing this in Delaware. And you kind of said like, there's really not many people really in this area at all. Like you found this in Texas and that lady was from California. You said LA, right?
Yep.
So, you know, like how are you building your brand, your community, the people that are going to come and be loyal to you and then, you know, speak positively of you and et cetera.
Yeah. So again, I really think a big part of that is being genuine. I'm not a pushy person. Like even if you come in for a facial, I think something that we do a little differently is I'm not going to tell you the things that we did on your face, like the skincare that I use, the step-by-step process to try to sell you the product.
This. Right. I hate that.
I'm not doing that.
I hate
like,
that.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Like Joseph Anthony, they're like, here's your product list. Here they all are. Buy them.
Yeah.
Like, I got to get
so
out of here.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like I don't, and so the whole point of that is I want you to relax. And then at the end, if I go through and give you that product list, your nervous system goes straight back up through the roof because you're like now nervous of like, do I have to buy something? Do I have to tip more? Like, what am I doing?
It's so true.
It's so frustrating. And like that, we actually do no gratuity at Bathhouse. Everything is like included. Oh, it's a whole nother like thing, but like we don't do any of that. I hold your card on file. So you don't take out any money at all
you leave
during your whole
home.
thing.
That's beautiful.
Like, and it's so much more streamlined.
I love
you
that.
come in for your service, you relax, you leave. That's it. Like there's no extra stuff. But building community wise, it's talking to people, it's engaging with people. I would say our connections have been the biggest thing. So like being invited to this podcast has been amazing. Being on Bryn's podcast. Like I gave a talk at the Health in High Heels event last week, which was really cool. They just randomly reached out and I was like, wow. So being open to
you just had Garnet
to
Valley
come your way.
Cheer.
Yeah.
Vincent's mom coaches Garnet Valley Cheer. The whole cheer team just came for a sound
so
bath.
fun. Yes. So I'm inviting that energy in of opportunity. I am talking to people. I feel like you'll see me throughout Trolley and Greenville and Wilmington. Like you'll see me like coming and getting my coffee, grabbing a bite to eat. Like if you see me, come and say hi. Like, you know, I'm very free flowing with that. And again, like, I'm going to ask the barista, like how their day is going. I'm going to engage with the bartender. So it comes down to people. And then once you get that genuine interaction, I feel like you want to talk about it more. And you're like, whoa, I met this like really cool person. Like, I wonder like other stuff that they do. That, and then like more on the businessy side, I've been using Popple for a long time. And actually Bryn introduced that to me years and years ago. So I have a virtual business card. So I have like a little QR code that you scan because I find that the paper business cards just get kind of lost in the shuffle.
Agree.
And what I like about Popple is they share their information with me. So I am getting their name, I'm getting their phone number, maybe an email address,
maybe their birthday.
I can write a little note of when I met them, where I met them, even though it geotags like everything. So I can like go back and look.
That's cool.
Because I'm terrible with names and remembering things like that. So having the name come through, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that person.
Right. Cool. I'm gonna start that.
Yeah, I really like it. So I've had almost 4,000 shares like on my virtual business card. and everything's linked to there. So if you want to go see the website, great. If you want to inquire about makeup, like if you want to see my Instagram, like all my stuff is right there. Sort of like a link in bio, but just more of a, here it is. And then people can go back to it instead of being like, where did I put that business card that doesn't have any info on it? So that's been another kind of game changer for me, because then I'm collecting all of these names. And then when they come in, I'm like, oh, right. Like they connected with me. Now I know.
And then you make them feel special because you remember them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We got to start that.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, man. I mean, there's so many of those now.
My husband has literally a photographic memory, so he'll remember that he met you in the playground in kindergarten. Literally, it's unbelievable. And then he'll remember your mom, your dad, your sister, your cousin. And meanwhile, I'm like, I can't remember my first cousin's name half the time. So it's so different. So where can we follow you? How can we support you besides Popple? If we don't run into you and get your virtual business card? How do we follow you? What's the best way to connect with you?
Hell yeah. So connect with me on Instagram at bathhouse.de, all one word, or you can just follow me on my regular social, just Alexandra Pettinaro. Or you can visit us at thebathhousegreenville.com. Those are probably the easiest ways to connect with me.
Perfect.
And yeah, I love it.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for
Anything you want to leave us with?
No, I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and remember to take deep breaths.
Pat, take a deep breath back there. All right. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.